Guyana is now a full-fledged oil-producing nation. But how much do you know about this valuable yet finite resource? On our radio program, Guyana's Oil and You, we strike at the heart of every issue with informed views and credible data. The time is now for you to arm yourself with insightful knowledge on your oil wealth.
This is the news on top of the hour.
Live from our studio in Georgetown.
Kaieteur Radio, 99.1 FM.
Hello, thank you for tuning into Kaieteur Radio. I am Kevin Smith.
And I am Kayla King.
And welcome to your news at noon. These are the top stories we are tracking. Stabroek Block key to ExxonMobil's revived profit margin as company's portfolio is best in 20 years, says Chairman Darren Woods. World's largest aviation safety net manufacturer here currently looking for a local partner. Meanwhile, Lyndon Shallow Grave, a 15-year-old relative charged with accessory to murder, and fugitive's father released from custody. Meanwhile, ExxonMobil contractor and Saipan to open GT base. Stay tuned to stay informed.
The perfect opportunity to choose a university. Enhance your capacity to build a nation. Guyana Online Academy of Learning. We'd love to give you a start. 20,000 scholarships we're offering, so you can do your part. We provide the platform, all you do is choose. You can use the comfort of your living room. The programs are completely online for you. Let's build a nation, yeah. Guyana Online Academy of Learning. We've got a nation's future at heart.
Kaieteur Radio, keeping you informed.
Demerara and Essequibo, 99.1 FM.
Burby's 99.5 FM. Kaieteur Radio.
And now for the news in detail. Guyana's prolific Stabroek Block, with a return of a break-even production price at $35 and production up 70% over the previous year, has contributed significantly to Exxon's return to a profitable status for the first quarter of 2021. The revelations were made this past week when company officials, including ExxonMobil's chairman of the board of directors Darren Woods, provided an update on the company's financial returns for the year's first quarter. Qualifying the position that the portfolio of opportunities is the best they have seen in 20 years, Woods in his report to investors noted that 90% of upstream investments and resource additions over the next 5 years, including Guyana, Brazil, and the Permian, generate 10% returns at $35 a barrel or less. With the low break-even margin and Guyana accounting for a significant chunk of the company's total upstream returns, the company noted that earnings on this front is up by over $1.8 billion for the financial quarter.
Meanwhile, the world's largest companies continue to be drawn to the multi-billion-dollar business potential of Guyana's growing oil and gas resources. Just recently, online industry publication Guyana Petroleum Digest disclosed that Frictape Net Limited, a Finnish company that designs and manufactures the world's most widely used helideck landing nets and perimeter safety nets, is in Guyana. Frictape's Pablo Rivera, director for the Americas, highlighted that his company is globally recognized as the leading expert for the helideck nets, while adding that it already has a relationship with most of the multinationals working here, such as ExxonMobil and Hess Corporation, the leading partners on the oil-rich Stabroek Block. While it has the financial prowess to easily dominate the market, Rivera said that the company is not looking to ride solo in the industry and is in fact seeking to join forces with the right local partner.
In other news, the 15-year-old relative of Shawnette Dover, who allegedly confessed to police that she assisted Shawnette's boyfriend, Shaquan Allen, currently on the run, to bury her in his backyard, has been charged with accessory after the fact of murder. Meanwhile, the fugitive suspect's father has been released from custody. On Tuesday, the teen appeared before Magistrate Wanda Fortune at the Linden Magistrate Court and pleaded not guilty to the charge. She was represented by attorney-at-law Dexter Smart. Commander of Region 10, Hugh Winters, said that all information concerning the alleged confession of the teen relative of Shauna Dover was sent in the file to the DPP, which outlined that the teen went with Shaquan Allen to the residence of Sean Allen, the fugitive's father, and informed him that Shaquan just shot Shaunette dead.
Now let's tell you one of ExxonMobil's largest contractors in Guyana, Saipem, is gearing to commission its first logistics base in Guyana this Saturday. The opening of the facility, according to a release from the company, is being seen as a key milestone in Saipem's local content development plan. This is according to Giorgio Martelli, President and CEO for the ExxonMobil Tier 1 contractor in Guyana. That company has secured the contracts regarding the Stabroek Block, the most recent project being for the Payara development. The Saipem Guyana offshore construction facility is located on Water Street, Georgetown. The company in its public profile has noted that with the ExxonMobil-led exploration and production in Guyana, it decided on a modular approach for its development in Guyana and is carrying out the project in stages.
It is now 12 hours 8 in Guyana. Coming up after the break, Linden man jailed 15 years for killing lover's reputed husband. Sleeping gold miner picked in hotel room. One suspect arrested. Teen drowns while swimming with relatives and closed the airport if you want to enforce curfew, measures in hotels, says sleeping boss after task force harasses guests. Do stay tuned.
This is GH Kayla inviting you to join me weekdays from Monday to Friday on the National Outlook for commentary on a range of issues. Immediately after the 12 noon and 7 p.m. newscasts on Kaieteur Radio at 99.1 FM and 99.5 FM. Looking forward to you sharing in the conversation.
Welcome back. Let us continue with the news. 34-year-old Corwin Arthur, a Linden man who had confessed to killing his lover's reputed husband, was slapped with a sentence of 15 years in prison. Corwin Arthur, who was initially charged with the murder of Claude de Jong, had pleaded guilty to the lesser offense of manslaughter last month. He admitted that on May 10, 2018, he unlawfully killed de Jong of South Amelia's Ward, Linden. According to reports, de Jong was the common-law husband of a woman who shared a secret relationship with Arthur. He stabbed de Jong several times about the body and then escaped, leaving the injured man lying in a pool of blood.
Meanwhile, 62-year-old Paulina D.G. Sue, a Brazilian gold miner, while sleeping in his hotel room, was allegedly robbed of 320 grams of raw gold, cash, and his personal documents by two unknown perpetrators. Police reports revealed that D.G. Sue was allegedly robbed sometime between 12 hours and 2 hours on Monday at Sheriff Inn Hotel, 2nd Street, Bartica. The miner reportedly told the police that a few hours before he was robbed, he had checked into his hotel room and went to sleep. Sometime around midnight, he woke up and checked on his valuables and discovered his passport was missing, along with some documents, $300,000 in cash, and 320 grams of raw gold, valuing some $3.2 million. Police are still in pursuit of the other suspect as investigation continues.
And now let's tell you, Amuel Sancho, a 13-year-old, drowned yesterday at a trench in Belfield, East Coast Amarara, between 14 hours and 15 hours 30, while he was swimming with some of his relatives. According to a police report, Sancho and relatives left home to go swimming. While they were all taking part in the activity, it was observed that Sancho had plunged into the trench but did not resurface after a while. Alarmed, Sancho's oldest cousin then decided to dive in the trench in an attempt to find him. After searching for his cousin, Sancho's motionless body was ultimately pulled from the trench. The police were then informed and he was rushed to the C.C. Nicholson Hospital at Nabakles. Sancho was unfortunately pronounced dead on arrival, and the body was taken to the Lichen Funeral Home awaiting a post-mortem, as further inquiries are in progress.
In other news, recently charged for breaching the COVID-19 curfew, the proprietor of the Sleep Inn International Hotel and Bar, Clifton Bacchus, has said that if the COVID-19 task force wants to enforce that measure on hotels, then Guyana must close its airports. Bacchus made this commitment after joint service ranks stormed into his business establishment recently and reportedly harassed the hotel's guests. Kaieteur News understands some of the guests were sitting at the bar while others were having dinner. Police ranks stormed in and attempted to arrest them all. The guests, based on what this newscast learned, resisted and told the lawmen that they were staying there at the hotel rather. Nevertheless, the ranks refused to listen and allegedly began dragging them outside to the waiting vans. In the gazetted COVID-19 measures, it was observed that there is no mention that hotels have to shut their doors at the curfew time. However, public gathering at a hotel swimming pool is prohibited.
And moving on, in keeping with its objective to transform Guyana's fisheries sector, the Ministry of Agriculture has set aside $39.9 million for crucial upgrades to the Saturday Osa aquaculture station located in Monrepo. The contract for the said works was recently signed between the Fisheries Department and the Ministry of Agriculture and Dudnot Construction and Supplies. During the contract signing, Agriculture Minister Zulfikar Mustafa stressed the importance of having the works completed in a timely manner. Minister Mustafa asserted that the upgrades were in keeping with the government's plan to develop the country's aquaculture sector. Apart from contracted works, Minister Mustafa disclosed that the National Drainage and Irrigation Authority will also be assisting the Fisheries Department with clearing 7.5 acres of land for the expansion and the construction of 23 earthen ponds of various sizes.
Now let's tell you, Speaker of the National Assembly, Manzoor Nadir, has responded to Opposition Member of Parliament and Shadow Home Affairs Minister Geeta Chandan Edmonds' question concerning the newly established Corporate Communications Unit of the Guyana Police Force, but has amended two of the questions. The Speaker's response came 2 weeks after the questions were tabled in Parliament. The director of the Corporate Communications Unit is former Guyana Chronicle Editor-in-Chief Mark Ramatar, and his deputy director is broadcaster Stan Gavaya. In the past, the GPF Public Relations Department was headed by serving members of the force who were trained in communications and public relations. However, earlier this year, the GPF announced the appointment of 2 civilians to run the force's PR department.
And on that note, we now head over to the COVID-19 update. According to Worldometer, the number of worldwide coronavirus cases has reached 155.2 million, with deaths at 3.2 million and recovery cases at 132.6 million. Locally, the Ministry of Health yesterday reported that 3 persons who tested positive for the COVID-19 have died. Their deaths now bring the country's total death toll to 306. The latest fatalities are 2 men, a 66-year-old and a 47-year-old, and a 77-year-old woman, all from Region 4. The ministry also recorded 92 new COVID-19 cases, taking the total number of confirmed cases to 13,656. 17 patients are in the COVID-19 ICU, 100 are in institutional isolation, 1,637 in home isolation, and 6 persons are quarantined institutionally. To date, 11,596 recoveries have been recorded. And with that, we now head over to the page 7 of today's Kaieteur News that is dedicated to being blunt. Information is the primary currency of the world today. It not only enhances existing commodities, but also is in itself a commodity that is traded, hoarded, and utilized in various ways. With regards to our gas-to-shore plans, we seem to be suffering from a deficit of information, one that threatens to devalue our doom the largest single investment in our history. We cannot continue this initiative with the poverty of information that currently surrounds it. And with that, we've come to the end of today's News at Noon. I am Kevin Smith.
And I am Kayla King.
Thank you for listening.
Kaieteur Radio.
Covering Guyana from coast to coast.
Demerara and Essequibo 99.1 FM.
Berbice 99.5 FM. Kaieteur Radio.